Are you being cheap? So think about what it is in your business that you use all the time. What is that thing you live on? What is that tool or equipment you use constantly? Now, have you bought the best, the most productive, the easiest to use, the thing that doesn't frustrate you, the thing you don't cuss at all the time? So as an example, I live on a computer. I don't use my cell phone much for phone calls. In fact, it's near impossible to get a hold of me on my cell phone. But I have a cell phone for texting and emergencies, and it's an iPhone. If I'm going to carry this thing in my pocket all the time, even though I don't use it that much, I'm going to have the best phone. I happen to think it's an iPhone. I mean, everybody has a different opinion. But I live on my computer more than anything else. So I have a $2,200 Mac. I think that because I spent all my time on my computer, I should have the best computer. Now, there's stuff that's better, but that's the in-between point where at $2,200, I get everything I possibly need, and it's what I need. If I was sitting on a lawnmower all day, I'd buy the best, most productive lawnmower. If I was cleaning a house, I would have the very best equipment, chemicals. Chemicals is probably the wrong word to use in cleaning, but I'd have the very best materials available to me to clean that house. If I'm in my truck all day long, I would have a fantastic seat, a good interior. If I was in my truck, I'd have a CD player to listen to audiobooks, or I'd have an excellent iPhone or mobile device that I can connect with the Bluetooth or plug in so I can listen to MP3s and audiobooks and such. What are the things you're doing every day that you use all the time that just drive you nuts, that are always having problems, that are always causing you waste and frustration, or that just don't make your life easy? Spend the money on those things. Those are the priorities that you should spend money on. Spend a day and evaluate where all your frustration points are. Fix them. That's money well spent. The late Zig Ziglar had a saying that your car can be a mobile university. Basically, that you could get a college education driving around in your car. And for so many of us in the service industry, that's so true. You're doing estimates, you're doing sales, maybe you're going between jobs to actually perform the work. Whatever the case may be, you spend so much time in your car. And if you're just listening to ESPN radio or talk radio, that most of the time is just going to wear you out mentally because you're convinced the world's going to end, or whatever the case may be, maybe even just listening to music, which is great, which I like, you're missing out on so much. I highly recommend, if you don't have a subscription to Audible, which is like $14 a month or $24 a month. In fact, there's a link on my Lawn Care Millionaire website on the right side that will get you a free month. If you're not doing that, or you're not listening to podcasts, there are so many smart people that now have a free podcast. If you're not listening to that kind of stuff all the time, you're really missing out on incredible education. So many people don't like to read. I don't have time to read every book. I listen to a lot of books on Audible, and you can listen to them at double speed once you get used to it. So if you don't like to read and you're the person who says, I don't read books, I would never read books, I don't have time to do it, get an Audible account, and you can just blow through books. And if you start a book, it's cheap. And if you start a book and it's not very good, stop. Don't read it. If it's not resonating with you, move on to the next book. Use your time, and I think it will just massively change your business. It will change your attitude. You'll feel so much more positive. You'll feel like you have so much more potential and possibility because, like they say, knowledge is power. Last year, the president of a company that I'm a partner in basically pranked me and sent me a text and said he needed to talk. I think I, as usual, didn't respond right away because I'm kind of slow about responding to text messages and horrible about responding to phone calls on my cell phone. So he sends me this text. I don't immediately respond. So then he sends me this longer text if I'm getting all my facts right, and basically tells me he needs to talk. He's grateful for the opportunities at the company. It's been a fantastic ride, on and on and on, but he's just got to do some things for his family. A new opportunity has come up, and basically he's going to move on. Now, I wouldn't have thought that would happen. And I thought it was a joke because he's good at that kind of stuff. But I got to say, my heart stopped. And here we are like a year and a half later, and I was thinking about today's topic, and this thing popped in my head. And it's a great reminder. So today, as you're going through your day, this week, as you're going through your week, where are the weak spots in your company? Where are you at risk? Where do you have people with no backup plan? Where do you what things are happening in your business that there is no backup plan. If a person leaves, a piece of equipment breaks, a truck breaks down, a phone system stops working. We've had some problems with our phones at Service Autopilot, and we are on this really high-end phone system now, and we've had some problems with our internet. So now we have a backup system in our company for our wireless and internet. If one of our $500 routers goes down, I have a $500 router that takes over. In our software systems that run Service Autopilot, we have ridiculous redundancy, but that's sort of a no-brainer. But where do I have redundancy in my company if somebody's laptop crashes? Do I have another laptop I could pull out of the closet and give it to them so they can keep functioning? Because labor is expensive. So today and this week, think about where all your weak spots are. Just make a list. Just jot them all down. Don't worry about fixing them. Just make your list. It's something to start working off as you continue working on your company. It'll let you sleep a whole lot better at night when you get all of those things fixed. Trying to figure out, okay, what am I going to record a video about today? I thought of something that happened a couple months ago that I think is a great lesson, and I doubt you would ever do this, but boy, it's a great reminder, and it's especially important to pay attention to your team and make sure they're not doing something this insane. So when we moved into our new office a while back, we had to sign a contract with a company, Time Warner, to get fiber optic service into our office space. And we were going through the motions. We had this salesperson, and this salesperson puts herself out there as like a beauty queen, whatever. I mean, you completely get the feeling that she's completely selling based on her looks, and that's the angle that she's going to play. And everything about dealing with her, although supposedly she's one of their top salespeople, was pretty much a turnoff. So I'm pretty frustrated with her. I'm not getting her to negotiate the way I want. I don't like the terms. On and on and on. So I get another company involved to help me negotiate, try to find somebody else that's better, try to find me basically a better deal. And I get an email from her after we haven't had that great of a relationship. And she sends me an email and she says, "Will you please help me make my quarter? Today's my last day. If you will please do me this huge favor and sign the contract today, I would really appreciate it. Can you do this for me?" It's really worded almost exactly like that. And then she calls me as well, and I ignore the phone call. So that just pissed me off more. And that's the point of this video is, what might it be that you and I and our team say that's phrased as benefits for us and not benefits for our client? I didn't give a flip about this girl. She was a terrible salesperson. And there was no way I cared to do anything to benefit her. What I wanted was her to give me $300 a month cheaper or whatever it was I wanted in a better terms on our deal. I wanted something. I wanted anything. So she came back to me with nothing. There was no benefit to me. There was nothing. And so what are we saying to our clients, our potential clients, in a way that benefits us and is about us and matters to us? Versus saying it in a way that matters to them, is about them, will make their life better, make them feel better. We want to make sure that everything we're saying and doing is phrased towards their benefit and not to ours. I hope that's a helpful tip today. It sure was frustrating for me, and I think phrasing things correctly to the client to benefit them is a huge, huge thing in this act of selling and in fantastic customer service. This video won't apply to everybody, but if you have cash and you have any desire to see that cash grow, then you're well aware that money market funds pay virtually nothing. So if you happen to be in California, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Texas, Alabama, and Florida, BBVA Compass, and you can find them online at compassbank.com, they are offering 1% on your money in the form of a money market fund through the end of 2015. And this applies to any amount deposited between $10,000 and $2.5 million. And I highly recommend that if you are in any money market funds or you have a lot of cash just sitting in your checking account, that you take a look at this. I personally moved a fair amount of money because I had it sitting in Vanguard. And I do think you need to keep money in a number of different places. But I'd highly recommend that if you have a bunch of cash, at least 10,000 that you can deposit, this is a great opportunity for you to get 1% on your money, which is far better than most money market funds pay, and then reevaluate at the end of 2016. Hope that helps.